Once upon a time, a year ago when I was here, and if you saw me then, I was 354 pounds and a size 54 trousers. Today I'm a size 44 trousers, so I've lost 10 inches. My collar was 20 tight and now 17 is big. I went from a 4X, which was ugly, down to 1X, which is good, and I have 70 pounds to go. So I was having a dinner with this wonderful nutritionist who was very nice, explaining that I had tried everything that everybody's ever tried. I tried the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, the Mother Teresa something diet, the chicken soup diet, you name it. I tried them all, and it was fine. I couldn't figure them out because they were complicated. And she says, well, of course they are. Complication is how we make money, but let me explain to you in boy talk. I sat there a minute and I said, boy talk? She says, yes, you don't understand how girls have to speak to men, their husbands in particular. First of all, you have to make sure you have eye contact because, you know, your minds are someplace else. When we have eye contact, we make it really simple. We use small words and short sentences. Thought about that a minute. I said, yeah, that's after 41 years of marriage. She's probably right. That's what Margaret does for me. Sometimes she moves my face over so I'm looking at, okay, I'm looking. What do you want? And she says, well, we have a propensity to make sure that you have to understand. Eat less or exercise more. And I said, that's it? I mean, everybody knows that. She says, well, then do it. If you want an In-N-Out hamburger or a McDonald's, cut it in half, throw it right in the trash. Just eat half of it. And I kept thinking, you know how hard that is? That's almost impossible. When you go out to dinner, you want to go to BJ's, have a Caesar salad. Fine, cut it in half, split it with your wife. You can split it. And if she wasn't right, because I calculated, and because being a chemist, which was fun to do, well, I understand. She says all it is calories. If you want to eat unhealthy calories, eat unhealthy calories. You'll still lose weight. It's the calorie count that basically is it. If you want to eat all celery, and you can only eat 1,800 calories a day of celery, the body's going to lose weight. If you're going to be all meat, eat 1,800 calories of meat, it will still lose weight. If you're going to have cookies, eat 1,800 calories of cookies. It doesn't matter. The body is like, it's like a bank account. You put calories in, you take it out. The more you eat, the more it adds. The less you eat, the more it comes from a deficit. So I basically did just that. And for 1 year, I watched what I ate. Instead of having the big bowl of something, I had the small normal bowl. You know those little boxes of cereal that the kids get? Well, that's the perfect amount. Look, they're 200 calories. That was breakfast. Had that before I came today. Lunch is the same way. Instead of having, you know, the 3 burritos, beans, rice, plate with the guacamoles, the chips, and this, you know, all the, you know, a couple of beers. When I go back, I'll have 1 burrito. And that's basically, I have decided and determined what eating the amount of calories necessary for me was less than 1,900. And every week, I have lost 1 pound. So over the period of a year, it was just 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound. I wrote the thing down on my day timer and calendar every Monday when I weigh in. I knew I was in trouble when I hit the 354 mark in December when I came in to see you, when I went in for my physical, and I was on diabetes medicine and blood pressure medicine, and my doctor had me stand on the hospital scale, you know, that little white one with the thingy, and it went to 350, and she says, I'm sorry, you've exceeded the weight limit of this scale, so go to work, stand on an industrial scale, and call in your weight. And I was so embarrassed at that time to say, I have to call and phone in a weight. So I stood on the you know, scale we weigh pallets on for 354. And at that point, I knew something had to be done. Because over the time when I was first married, you know, I was 198 pounds. And then my wife proceeded to feed me. Very good cook, by the way. Love her to death. But unfortunately, I couldn't control how much I ate, and it was just proportion control. And if I could understand the proportions that I needed to eat, I could control my weight. Harder than it's so easy to say. You know how hard that is? Because everything from a guy's standpoint tastes good. Why? Because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. 9 years, she feeds me, and I am the devoted, loving, caring, wonderful husband that she wants me to be. Because when it comes off and I can smell that wonderful food cooking and she makes spaghetti, it is so hard to go, well, this is what I need, this is what I want, and seconds sound even better. And food is so social. Everything I do revolves around meals, having time with friends, family, enjoying the companionship of others at dinners, going out to dinners, having the ability and the money to do it. But I never really thought about weight until I really realized how the rest of the world operated. The rest of the world operated in a very unique way. I hired a chemist named Inling Fing, came from China. Came to America in his senior year, learned English in 1 year, went on to Duke University to get his chemical degree. One day he calls me and says, can we have a moment to talk in the office? And I said, sure, what do you want to talk about, Inling? And he says, you must be the wealthiest man I've ever met. And I went, what the heck? I'm just a working guy on a factory, you're here, a million other people, a lot of millionaires, billionaires, I mean, look at Google and on and on and on. He says, but you don't understand, look how big you are. And I said, yeah, I'm overweight, what's the problem? He says, but you don't understand, in China, the wealthy are big. The poor are skinny. When we were there, you could see the wealth of others by how their children were, how they were. They could feed people. They had meat, they had chicken. We were lucky to have rice and vegetables and maybe some fish, and that was coming to America. So, trust me, when you're here for a while, you eat a lot of In-N-Out, and you're going to gain weight too. I can assure you of that. But in his understanding on how he grew up, I never respected or understood or appreciated the differences of what we have that we're so lucky to be blessed for here, never having to worry about ever going hungry, ever even thinking about it. Drive through this on my way, I'm hungry for McDonald's or whatever. Never thought about it. I never thought about not having enough money to feed the family enough calories in order to make them plump like I was. So it was kind of an eye-opener and a shock to me to realize how grateful I should be for what I had. But that was my Inling Fing story of weight control. But you've been a great class. I know you have clients coming in, so I'm going to let you go. Have a good day.